Hello and welcome to this new video on my channel. Today we talk about Subterfuge, which is a tribe in Animal Kingdom, a very new trading card game which will release this year. And yeah, I want to talk about one of the traits, one of the classes that you can play in this game. And like for every class in this game, we have an assistant mayor. This mayor is called Hinata Byakko and comes with two abilities. The first one is Azure Art. When you play a worker with Infiltrate, you may pay 1 solar. If you do, it gains quick until the start of your next turn. And the other ability is Shadow Art. When you play a worker with Infiltrate, you may pay 2 solar. If you do, it gains invisible until the start of your next turn. So this mayor is playing with Infiltrate, and whenever I play a card, a worker with Infiltrate, I can like buff the worker. Quick means that I can use it in the turn I play it, and invisible means that no one, not my enemies, not even I by myself, can target the card. So it's like protected until the next turn. Alright, so that's the mayor. Let's go to the cards. And maybe if you watched my first video where I went through the authority cards. Actually, I did this first video before the Adventure League ended. The Adventure League, the prologue ended, and I actually won it, and I'm very happy about it. And yeah, so I'm a little bit late to talk about the cards now, but I still want to go through all the cards. And as you can see, this is not the updated artwork. I tried to show you the actual artwork if there is one already. And yeah, here on the left, I'll talk about the cards. So in this stack, I have the workers and I have the stratagems, and we'll talk about those first. Then we go to the adventurers, and at the end, we will talk about the buildings. All right. So this is Alacrity Salve. So you might hear it. I'm not a native speaker, so I'm really sorry if I pronunciated something a little bit wrong. Let's talk about this stratagem. It's a fast potion, and we can choose an adventurer. It gains +2 Gale until the end of the turn. So if our adventurer deck is Gale based, this is a very strong card. As you can see, I got 4 copies of it, so that means that I played it 4 times in a deck. Yeah, I won't have 4 copies of every card, but it doesn't matter for our for this video now. Then we have Order 42. Choose the worker with Infiltrate. Its gain penalty is doubled until the end of the turn. This is a really strong card, and yeah, this is really strong if you're adventurer based, and I played a very adventurer based deck in the Adventure League, so this was really good and helped me a lot with completing adventures. Order 42. So the mayor wants to play cards with Infiltrate. Cards with Infiltrate come with a gain penalty. Like, let me give you an example. For example, I think the key card is Slithering Shadow, which has Infiltrate. So we play this and it comes into another mayor city. And then if we exert it, we won't gain points, as workers usually give us points. We will make the other mayor lose points. And that's really strong. And in this case, it also comes with another ability, which we will talk later. So if we double the amount, like we start with -2 and we play in Order 42, it's -4. And if we have a second Order 42, it actually goes up to -8, and so on and so on. So basically, if we are like really lucky, we can go to 4, 8, 16, -32 in one turn. I've never seen this happen. I think like -8 was the most that I ever was able to steal from my opponent, the Renown. But yeah, really good card. And I think in every deck right now that plays somewhat Infiltrate, which is supported by the mayor, so I think maybe everyone plays it. So this, yeah, this would make the cut in my deck right now, of course. Then we've got Document Leaks. Document Links cost us 2, is a slow stratagem, so these 2 can be played whenever we want to, and this can only be played in our own turn. Document Leaks. Choose another mayor. They pick 3 cards from the hand and reveal them to you. Then you pick 1 non-building card and discard it. If you're infiltrating the chosen mayor, they reveal their entire hand instead. So I played this in my deck like 2 or 3 copies, And it's a great card because usually you can choose a strong card from your opponent and they just gotta discard it and you'll get rid of it really easily. But since this is a low cost card, I tried to also play it in the early game. But in the early game, if my opponent just has 3 buildings in their starting hand, yeah, then they just show me 3 buildings. I can choose no card at all, and that's really bad. Or maybe sometimes I played against Tomoe, so that then showed me like a really great adventurer and 2 buildings, and then I had to choose the adventurer, and then they could use their ability and bring the card into play in the next turn. So this is kind of risky if you're not infiltrating, but you are infiltrating in most of the cases. So this is maybe not the early game card, but for the cost of only 2 solar, it can be really good in the mid or late game too. I like the card. It's really great. Then we got Second Wind, which is a neutral card, but in the stack, we choose an adventurer in our recycling and add it to our hand. So really basic, nice neutral card. So if we play an adventurer based deck, which I played, I tried to play it around my adventurers and some of my infiltrating workers, we can give an adventurer a second chance. Always a great card, I would say. Then we've got the Lady of the Tavern. Yeah, let's read the text. It has gain penalty -1. It's a worker, infiltrate, so it has penalty, and we play it into another mayor's city. We have an active ability. We gotta exert this card and pay 2 solar. Then we choose an adventurer in the same city as this card, exhausted. Then bounce this card. And then there's explained what exhausted means. An exhausted card is exerted and doesn't refresh during its controller next upkeep. A bounce card returns to the hand. So we play this into the opponent's city. And then on the next turn we can pay 2. We take this back to our hand. And we exhaust one of our opponent's adventurer, which means they're like double tapped and they won't be able to use the adventurer for like 2 turns. And since this is an active ability, we can also do this on our opponent's turn. So this is like really putting the pressure on our opponent. If we have this in the city and they want to go on an adventure, we can choose one adventurer, pay 2, get this back to our hand. So this is like an obvious control tool. We play this, our opponent knows what might happen, but still puts them under pressure, and they gotta deal with this card somehow. I like it, but I did not play it actually, because I don't know why. I actually don't know why. I had a lot of other control tools, but I think it could make the cut. If I would redesign my deck a little bit, this could be in it. Then we've got Emergency Exfiltration, which is a fast stratagem, so we can use it on the opponent's turn 2 again. And we bounce any number of cards you control. So I bounce any number of cards I control with Infiltrate. Bounce, as mentioned on the card earlier, means we can... so if maybe an opponent is about to kill one of our infiltrating workers, we can play this card and get them back to our hand. So far, it did not feel like we need this card. I had so rare moments when my opponent could deal with my workers at all. So I didn't play it, but maybe I just missed something, or all my matchups just didn't make it. So there is power with like Rafa, where they destroy a worker, but they pay 4 solar for it. So usually it's not that bad to, yeah, because their game is also slowed down. I don't know. Maybe I just I could not make use of it correctly. Just didn't play it. Then there's another card that I did not play. Belfry Bats. It gives us 1 point if we want to, and we can pay 5 solar and all mayors discard a card. I think this can be really, really strong, but I did not build a discard deck. But if you're about to play a deck that wants to discard your opponent's cards, and keep in mind you also discard a card on your own, but if you like generate a lot of solar with Infiltrate and Pilfer, then you can like activate this over and over and over again. If we've got 20 solar in 1 turn, everyone has to discard 4 cards. And then it might be really strong. Then it might be a good card, but it was just not my playstyle. I think this can be great, but I just couldn't find a way to use it really good. So I decided to build my deck another way. Then we have Information Broker, which I actually yet had in a really old version where it just had the cost of 2 solar, had 0 gain, but and a little different ability. Now it's like, it reads like the following. It's a worker, we pay 3, Information Broker, and we can exert this card. If we exert a worker with Infiltrate for gain penalty, we may exert this card and then we gain 2 renown. So basically, if we like infiltrate another mayor, this can then tap for 2 points for us instead for just 1. It's fine. I think I played it because I needed a few workers that live in my city to make use of my buildings, and this was fine. Give me a few points. Like maybe it gives it up to 4 points in a game, and or maybe even 6. That's great, but not that great. So if we compare it with Authority and the Adventurer to be, this is like a medium good card. If I would have better options, I don't think it would have made the cut. It's fine because my deck wasn't built around gaining renown with my workers. It's more like gaining renown with my adventurers, and don't let my opponent gain renown at all with my workers. That was more my game plan, but I needed some workers for my building, so this was okay-ish. Then we've got the Concept Thief, which also costs 3 solar, has gain penalty 1, so this is Infiltrate and Pilfer. Pilfer, which is explained on the Slithering Shadow, when you gain solar equal to how much renown was lost. Pilfer, then you gain solar equal to how much renown was lost by the infiltrated mayor. So we play this in the into another mayor city. In the next turn, we can use it. And then they lose 1 point, 1 renown, and we gain 1 solar. So actually, they lose points, we get money. We're like a really good thief, as the name already says. And then this has a second ability. If the infiltrated mayor has 3 or fewer cards in their hand at the start of their upkeep phase, they lose 2 renown, and then you gain 2 renown. So this is really nice in combination with like Belfry Bats or other cards that make our opponent discard cards. Because yeah, as you can read, as this card says, if we are somehow able to make our opponent lose cards, so they have really less cards in their hands, we will make them lose even more points and gain even more points. So it can be a great card, but I think I didn't play it because I wasn't playing around the discarding thing. But yeah, maybe I should try to build a deck just around discarding, and yeah. Then we've got Best Laid Plans, which is also a fast stratagem. Choose a stratagem and foil its effect. A foiled effect does not occur. So this is pretty easy. Our opponent plays any kind of stratagem, and we don't want that because it's like a strong buff, or maybe it's it might destroy one of our workers or whatever. We can just pay 4 and make it unhappen. I played this in my deck, I think, but I couldn't use it that often. But that's not because this is a bad card. I don't think it's a bad card at all to have a counter card. But the problem is that there are not that much or that strong stratagems in the game right now where it was worth it to keep 4 solar open, to not use 4 solar, just maybe because my opponent might play a stratagem in their turn. So this is nice if we go in our adventure phase first and have all our solar still ready. And then our opponent wants to buff and wants to contest and buff and whatever, and then we can use this and counter a stratagem. But keeping 4 solar and not using 4 solar is really expensive. It's a lot of money that we could have used for an adventurer or maybe something else in our turn. That's why this was not that easy to play out. I think it's a great card. Maybe there might be better foiling effects in the future, but it's a great start to foil cards. Can you see this still in the camera? Somewhat. Yeah, that's fine. Then we've got like the iconic card, I would say, when it comes to gain penalty to infiltrating worker, which is Slithering Shadow. I really like the artwork, by the way. And also, that I want to mention this. It's very important. As you can see, those are not... I know the artworks. You've seen them somewhere here, I hope. But all these artworks are beautiful. So my respect and yeah, a huge thank you to everyone, to every artist who made those great arts. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it a lot. I like those cards just by the look of it. So this is Slithering Shadow, and it has Infiltrate, like many other workers in this in Subterfuge have. And it has Pulver, and basically we pay 4, and then from the next turn on, we can make our opponent lose 2 points every turn. And also we gain 2 solar. This is like, we kind of play an extra building on turn 2, which is really strong. I like this card, and I played the Subterfuge mostly in one-on-ones. Only one 4-player game, I guess. And in one-on-one, this is crazy overpowered. So the game isn't designed to be played in one-on-one mainly, but if you play Subterfuge in one-on-one, no, I'm not kidding, but whenever I played Subterfuge with my friends, they said, okay, now you switch your deck. I don't want to play against it again. Yeah, that was like every time the same. When I played Subterfuge. I won like to 0 points, to 10, to 20 points, and then they're like, okay, play another deck, please, or we stop playing here. All right, great card. Bad Bunch, also another infiltrating worker, also with Pilfer, but it has another effect. That's why this only make our opponent lose 1 point. And also this has a great artwork, but this is like a really old print and play card. So I'm sorry for not having them, the right ones here. Actually, I should have them somewhere, but sadly, I didn't put them in the deck. I don't know where they are. This has another effect. Exert this card in another Bad Bunch in the same city. Choose a worker in the same city as this card and retire it. This is so strong in the authority matchup. So if we play a Bad Bunch into the opponent's city, and if we play a second Bad Bunch in the same city, then we can use the ability. So it's a huge setup. It's not easy to set up, but in one-on-one situation, it's pretty easy to get these out. We'll have a card later that makes this pretty easy. And then we can, in every single turn, use the Bad Bunches, and they will lose a worker turn by turn. And there's no other cost. We don't need solar. So once we play those, once we have 2 in their city, it's pretty easy to make them lose the workers and control the game. And that's strong. Controlling. That's what I'm talking about. Right. We have Vandalised Arms, which is a fast stratagem again. As an additional cost to play this card, choose a mayor and then retire one of your workers with infiltrate in that mayor's city. That mayor's adventurers lose -X to a statistic of your choice until the end of your turn, where X is equal to the gain penalty of the retired worker. So to make this short, if our opponent is about to go on an adventure, and we have a worker with Infiltrate. In best case, we have the Slithering Shadow. Like we play against Power, and they have a lot of great adventurer cards. We play Vandalised Arms, and every adventurer will lose 2 strength. Just imagine, we can make our opponent lose up to 10 of any statistic if they have like 5 adventurers in play right now. This is so strong. This is a great control tool. I remember one when it was in week 4. I played the deck. I played this card and I contested a quest, and then I played this, and my opponent there was no chance at all that they could somehow win the quest yet, and I easily got it. And yeah, that's crazy strong. That's like a really good card. In one-on-one, even stronger, because you've got only one opponent to care about. In a 4-player game, you can just care about one opponent, of course. And so you got to choose it really wisely. I think it's rather an late-game card then, because you got to, if you want to make use of it the best way, they need a lot of adventurers. And then you got a contest, because then you can steal the points. And great card. I like it. Really strong. Really nice card. I don't know. Maybe not for the mates I played with, but it's a great card. Then we have Pride Fixer, a worker I used to play in my deck too. It simply has 1 gain and another effect. Exert this card. When you exert a worker for its gain penalty, you may pay the cost, which is exerting the card. If you do draw cards equal to the worker's gain penalty, then discard the same number of cards. So this is a kind of draw effect. Sadly, we gotta discard our cards again, so this is not that overpowered. I think if we would keep the cards, it would be like basically overpowered with like Order 42. We can like draw 4 or 8 cards in a turn, which is too much. But we can go through our deck pretty easily with this card. Yeah, I like it. And we can use it for other building effects if we want to toil. It's a fine worker right now in the cards we have right now. I like this a lot and I played it. It's nice. So there's no space here anymore, but we have 1 card left, and that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the bad bunches. Sneaking mission. Search your expansion deck for up to 2 workers with Infiltrate, reveal them, then add them to your hand and shuffle. So we just gotta find this card somehow. Then we play 5 solar, and then we get 2 bad bunches, and in the next turn we play the bad bunches, and then we can take away our opponent's worker each by each in every turn. Or we go for 2 Slithering Shadows and we make them lose 4 points each turn. A really great card. I played 4 copies of it just to have those. This is an amazing draw. This is like, I don't think we have that, but do we have any other search your deck effects beside Bella? Look at the top 3 cards. I don't think so. I can't remember any cards of at least. Maybe there are some and I'm just not thinking about them. But this is really strong. You get like your perfect hand if you play this. I like it. It's a great card. All right. So that's about the workers and the stratagems. Let me put those cards away quickly so we can come to the adventurers. And while I do this, please write down a comment. I would appreciate it. And tell me what's your favorite Subterfuge card. If you've never heard about the game, which card sounds great to you now, or if you've played the game, if you maybe also played in the Adventure League, and if you've played Subterfuge there, what is your favorite card? Maybe by power, and feel free to explain why, and maybe by the artwork. Yeah. So let's go and continue with the adventurers. The very first adventurer, like every single, is it called traits? I don't know, like Subterfuge, power, mysticism and authority. I don't know how they are called. I'm sorry for that. But each one has a 2-cost adventurer in the basic deck. And this is Windrogue, which comes with 2 Gale. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce it. I knew this would be coming. I don't know how to pronounce a word. But whatever. When this enters the game, when we recruit this card, we choose another mayor. We look at the top card of that mayor's expansion deck. I honestly don't understand how this ability can help us. I tried to understand it. I tried to play this. It's just a great early game adventure, of course, with 2 for 2. It's nice. It's very basic, but there was never a situation where I felt like, okay, now I can use the information what's on top of my opponent's deck. I don't know. Actually, I simply don't know why this what this effect can be used for. So maybe then we know, okay, we want to, but we can just make them discard cards. Why should we look at the top card of their library? I don't know. I really don't know. But still, for the basic stats, I played this a few times in my deck. I think only 2 times. If I only have it 2 times here, but it's an okayish basic starter card. Yeah, I think you usually would play a few copies. If you draw this in the early game, you can already start going on adventures, and this is simply an okayish good card. Yeah. Then we've got the legendary one, and sadly there's no full art right now. I don't think that there is any full art for this card already, as far as I know, and I'm really interested in seeing the art for this card once. This is Kamina Silent Thunder, and it has 6 of this greenish, which I can't pronunciate stat. It's legendary. It's part of the Byakko dynasty, and it has an auto ability. The first time this card is chosen for an effect by another mayor this turn, put it on top of your adventurer deck and draw a card. So you don't draw this card again, because though you've got your adventurer deck where you can scout in each turn, and then you've got your expansion deck, and we draw a card from our expansion deck in this case. This card can only quest if at least 3 Ronon has been lost by other mayors as a result of your workers with Infiltrate this turn. So even if we play this in the early game, and this has like crazy stats in the early game, we won't be able to use it, sadly. because we won't have that many workers with Infiltrate. But in the mid game and late game, this is a very strong adventurer, which, if I don't get the rules wrong, which can never contest because we can only infiltrate in our turn. Because as far as I know, I might be wrong, you can only infiltrate also slow. Like you can gain only slow. Slow means you can only use it in your turn and not in opponent's turn. So we will never use this to contest for a quest. But if we are on our turn, we can like do any quest we want as long as we were able in this turn to make our opponents lose some of their renown with our workers. And as I said, I built my deck around it, so usually this could quest and made every quest pretty easy. And even if our opponent says no, this I get rid of it, whatever they play, we actually draw this again the next turn because it will go on top of our adventurer deck. We will then be able to play it again. And we also draw a card, which is crazy good. This card has a really great value. I like it a lot. Then we've got Byakko Scout, which is invisible, as I already explained with this Hinata ability. So neither I or my opponent can target this Scout. So we can't use Alacrity Salve on this, because we will target the card then and give it more stats. But it's, yeah. But why should it have invisible? Because it just is a sneaky little one? Yeah! When this card is recruited and when it completes a quest, so like hopefully each turn if we're able to, choose one of your workers with Infiltrate. That worker causes the infiltrated player to lose renown equal to its gain penalty. So this will help us to lose even more, to make our opponent lose even more and more points. And yeah, it's nice that it's invisible, so our opponent usually can't get rid of it. And yeah, we try to quest with it and make our opponent lose points and points and points and points. Works really great. Then we've got the Whirlwind Artist. It costs 4. It has 1 strength and 2 Gale. When this card completes a quest, bounce a worker. When a card is bounced, it returns to its owner's hand. We already had this keyword, so I played 4 times because it's really strong in the early game. If we quest with it, we can bounce workers over and over again, which is good against any of our opponents usually. But in a one-on-one situation where only one player can play workers, this can get out of control a little bit, because when this card completes a quest, there's no May. So if the only workers in play are our own infiltrators, we gotta bounce our infiltrators. This is on one hand a little downside, but on the other hand this is a huge upside, because we bounce our worker and then we play it again, and then we pay 1 solar extra, and then we can, the worker comes with quick and we can make our opponent lose even more points. So if we discard every single card with the one worker we had, if we've got no cards in hand but we have this in play and there is a quest, then we can simply bounce our workers, play them again, make them quick, and make our opponent lose a lot of points. That's really strong. I like the card. Talking about strong cards, here we've got Hidden Gale. Right now, when I record this video, I'm pretty sure it's the 5th of March, and maybe when this goes online, like in 2 or 3 days. When you go to the official Animal Kingdom website, you will find an older version of this card where it came with a cost of 4 solar. But they reworked the card, and now it is like this. It's an adventurer, and it has 1 magic, 2 Gale. And we pay 5 solar instead of 4. We may pay 5 instead of 4, and then we ambush. We can recruit this card during the quest phase by paying 5 solar. If we do this, we add it to our questing party. So if we are on an adventure and an opponent is about to contest, or maybe we want to contest, then we pay our solar and use the Hidden Gale and go for a huge surprising moment, because when this card ambushes, so our opponent does not know we are about to play it, and then we play it and we boost those stats, basically, which happens because this is has some stats, and then we choose another Mayor's questing adventurer, and it is retired. Retiring means it's gone forever, and that's really strong. So it's not only that we play it and we get like +2 or +1 or whatever stat is needed right now. It's also that we make our opponent lose their best adventurer they have in their party right now. This turns games crazy. This is really, really good. I don't know, I have only 3 copies. There must be a 4th copy anywhere, and I would definitely play it. It's a so strong card. Subterfuge in general is so controlish, and I love to play control. I used to be an aggro player in Magic, but then I discovered playing control, and since then I just love it. Really great card, really strong card. Maybe it's a little bit too strong, to be honest. I don't know. I don't want it to get nerfed, but it felt really strong every time I played it, because you not only gain something, you also make your opponent lose something at the same time. I mean, yeah, you gotta keep 5 solar in your back. You don't use that many solar if you want to use it in your opponent's turn. That's a downside, of course. If our opponent is not questing, then we just did not use our solar, which isn't great. Yeah, but in general, this can be a really strong card. I think in a 4-player game, it's even better because there will be more quests. There's more opportunity for opponents to go on a quest, and then it's our time to shine and contest and make them lose. A really strong adventurer, and also we try and hopefully we win the quest then. That's really strong. Then we've got the Skyshadow Howler. This says, this card gains +2 Gale for each Maya with 3 or fewer cards in their hand. So this is again about the discarding synergy, and since I mostly played 1v1, and this will be really great if I have like got 3 opponents and none of them has that many cards. This is like a 5-cost 8 Gale card, which is insane. But even if it has 4, it's insane. So this is a really great card, especially in multiplayer. But I just didn't play it because, as I said, I wasn't playing about the discarding thing. Then there's a neutral card, anything Annihilator. I think it's fine. It's a control card too. I played it, I guess, 2 times in my deck. We recruit it, we choose a non-building card, we retire it so we can get rid of a really strong card. But I think since Subterfuge has so many good cards on their own to control the game, we might not even need this card in our deck. I don't know. It's an okayish good card anyways. And talking about neutral cards, we did not talk about our 2, I think they are the blue collar worker and the white collar worker. If you don't know what these cards are, I sadly don't have them with me here right now. But you can have a look at the authority video, and then there was when I talked about them. I don't think they're great for the Subterfuge right now, for the card pool we have, because they're just neutral workers. Maybe we can make use of the gain 2 somehow if we need any workers in our city, but yeah, not that strong. Okay, and then we have the buildings. Basic building, very basic. What a joke. Then we have Happy Paw Inn, and I played this at least 2 times. I think you could play this even more times in your deck, because this makes your Tavern bigger. And as I said, I played my deck all around adventurers and questing. So we want more adventurers than our opponent, because all those adventurers, as you can see, only come with not that much stats usually. So this has 6. This can have more if we go about the discarding theme. But they don't have that much stats. So we need more adventurers or like the Hidden Gale to make the best for our play. So Happy Paw Inn was in my deck, and it was great. Construction site is also nice. If we play like a special building that we want to play construction site, because then we can simply search for our building. The one thing, I did not play that many workers in my own city, so sometimes I won't be able to toil. Then there's still like a slum, but that's you usually want to toil and then find any good building. And talking about good buildings, there's the secret bunker. It generates 1 as every advanced building usually does, except for the construction site. And we can toil 1, pay 2 solar, look at the top 2 cards of our expansion deck, add one onto our hand and the other on bottom of the deck. So we like a little bit search for a card and then gain this, like draw 1 just for the use of 2 solar. That's pretty nice. And we can also we look at 2 cards, and 1 is the building, 1 is the worker. We don't need a building, so we choose the worker. Maybe you could you could play 3 cards of this in your deck maybe. If you don't care about that many basic buildings. And then we've got Shadow Tunnels. Also generates 1, has toil 1. Choose one of your workers with Infiltrate and move it to another mayor city, then refresh it. I did not play this card basically because I mainly played 1-on-1. But I think this is nice if you're preparing for if an opponent is like about to be really strong right now and will maybe finish the game with the next quest. We can then move a worker and then use Vandalised Arms. I think this is a great card in general, a great building. You just gotta build your deck around it to make the best use of it, but it shouldn't be that difficult with the card pool we have right now. Yeah, that's it. I tried to be a little bit quicker than I was in my authority video last time. It was again a lot of fun. Maybe I have a look at the other ones too. I printed all of the cards, so this could be easily done. It's not that easy to just sit down, make a video, and then cut it and extract all the PNGs and to put them in like one by one in my program and cut the video. But it was a lot of fun to talk about those cards. Feel free to share your opinion. If you like disagree totally with any of those cards, feel free to explain me why you disagree, or if you agree with them cards, let me know. Would be great. Have a beautiful day. Stay healthy, and maybe see you in another video. And also check out the official Discord server if you want to learn the game. If you want to play the game, you'll find other players there. You can find the print and play decks also. You have a link in the description for that. And yeah, just join the Discord and have a great day. Bye bye.